What's up, y'all? I'm Shelby.
And I'm Alexa.
And this is the Shelby and Alexa Podcast.
Hey guys, what's good?
Welcome back to another episode.
Yes, we out here today. I literally took a nap before this, so that's why I'm like...
Me too.
We're not on point.
Yeah, we're a little loopy.
Yeah.
We were just saying how maybe we should start doing this in the morning because we've been looking forward to it all day and like the nerves are here. So.
Yeah, because I start overthinking about it. Like by the time 4 o'clock came, I'm like, oh my God,
it's
my
time.
Hair. I'm like, yeah, it's time.
Not my hair.
Yeah, because I get all nervous. I'm like, oh my God. So
we're here.
Yeah, exactly. So today... last episode, I had a lot of realizations. This week,
I'm having realizations too. I don't know. Alexa did inspire me like that last episode when she was, talking about her realizations and things that she's been like noticing about life. And, coincidentally, there's been a lot that's been happening in the news that like connect to what I've been thinking about, starting with protests. So if you guys don't know, in 2020, I think, June 2020, I organized my own protest with the help of some other people from our hometown. Mm-hmm. And that was super cool. It was such a learning experience. But it was for Black Lives Matter in the wake of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor's murders. And we did that. Let's just say, like, we really did do that. A lot of people came out. I forget how many, but like,
oh, it was packed.
Thousands, I feel like.
It was packed. It was so, like, it was such an amazing turnout for everybody to come together in one row and to, get together and do the protest. It was just really amazing to see. Like, I pulled up a little bit late. I was a little late, but I seen everybody walking around, and it was just, oh my God, it was a huge crowd.
Yeah, I
like
remember
such
that.
A good turnout.
I remember you calling me and being like, "Where are you at?" Like,
I know,
it was different parts of the line. Like the line was so long, like she had to figure out like where to park in order to jump in on time. But
I literally ran.
Made it.
I ran to the front because I was like, I know Shelby's gonna be in the front, and I see the back right now. I'm like, I need to hurry up. I was out of breath by the time I got to the front, but I just wanted to be with her. I wanted to
you made
be there
it, and I
support.
Appreciate that so much. Alexa's a real one for coming out.
Period. No, but it was really like, that was amazing that you guys like put all that together.
And it was all through Twitter too.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, it all started through a tweet. So like all those people came out in that moment from one single tweet that I think we had like the day before. Like it was all like in the matter of 24 hours. It was super quick. So yeah.
Can I ask like how, like what, not like what made you want to start your own, or like what was that moment where you were like, I'm about to do my own, like I'm about to start?
It was genuinely
create my own.
Yeah, no, it was genuinely like an impromptu, like on the fly kind of thing. Like I think like how it usually happens after a huge news event, everyone goes to social media and we start talking about it. So I feel like that had just, like another murder had just happened by the police and everyone was on Twitter and we were
they protesting? Sorry to interrupt. Were they protesting in New York? Like
actually,
the city?
Yes. I think they were already doing protests in the city. And I feel like there was a tweet or something about how we don't have protests or enough, there's no protests or enough protests like in the 845 where we're from.
Yeah.
Or like upstate New York, not like focused in the city. And there really hadn't been before that, right?
I honestly think you're like the first.
Yeah.
Like in the town, and then next thing you knew, like
it was a whole bunch of
New Windsor,
ones.
Cornwall, Newburgh, they were all doing it too, like after that. So I think you really like, I don't know.
But so that's how it happened.
Shelby Luther King out here, yo.
I'm dead.
No, that's the little inside joke.
That's our insider.
That's a little inside joke. But no, seriously.
But that's how it started, like through a tweet. We were talking about how, there's not a lot of protests, like we should have one, and then it was like a small group of us and we were like, okay, let's start planning it. Let's do it. And then there were so many people coming for us.
What was that process like for you? How'd you feel getting into all that and protesting and organizing?
It was all like new to me. My first protest was at Chapman University, where I went to school. And that was that was my first experience protesting, and I hadn't really done a lot of it beforehand. Like I never did it growing up or anything like that. So it was more so like towards the later half of my life. But organizing my own protest, I don't even know. Like it was just very on the fly. Like when like I feel like it's like related to pregnancy, which is weird, but like when you're a mom and you like anticipate, or you think you can anticipate giving birth, or like how it's going to feel, but when it happens, like you're just like called upon it and you just have to act in that moment. Like that's how I felt about the protest. Like I just had to act in that moment. Like I didn't know what I was doing. Like no one did. Like none of us did. We were just like, this is what we do. Like I've done it before and this is how I've seen it happen.
Because you had to meet with a lot of people.
We
like,
figured that out, on the fly.
Meeting.
We figured out, because of the backlash that we got, we had to go to the police station, like make sure that they were aware that this was happening. But you are allowed to protest, on a sidewalk, on any public domain. So we, had to figure that out. But there's a lot of backlash. There's businesses where we were protesting. They boarded up their restaurants and their shops, because in the city there's like a lot of looting going on. So they were thinking that we were going to do that upstate, and it was like, please stop.
Yeah, they thought people were going to start rioting and like doing crazy like
it was such a peaceful protest, which makes me want to talk about another protest that I've seen like in the most recent news at Columbia University. These peaceful protests get met with so much judgment and assumption and like hate, and it's like no one said that they were gonna come at 3:00 and like light up the field, or do like a huge harmful demonstration. Like we were literally coming, sitting down and chanting, or walking around and chanting, and that's it. Like if it really bothers you that much, you should ask yourself that. Like ask yourself why
internally, like why does that bother you so much?
And I'm so sure that those people don't want to be spending their Saturday, their Wednesday, sitting outside chanting at y'all, but like there's messed up things happening and people feel passionate and they want to use their voice, like, so
allow
weird.
People to use their voice for good. Stop trying to censor everybody. Like that's what I was gonna say too. Like quickly backtrack, like on Facebook, all the Facebook 845 Karens and the dads or whoever. But when Shelby was trying to do her protest, I seen a lot of people come at her again for thinking that people were gonna riot, and it's just like it's just crazy because again, like you have to ask yourself internally, like why does that trigger you so much? Like because Shelby, it was so peaceful. I just think it was very crazy, like for my friend, just for people to come at her like unprovoked was just like it was just really crazy.
And when you're trying to like stand up for something so important, at least to me, it's like not harmful at all. It's not really hurting anyone in any way. Like I don't get why it gets met with so much anger and hostility.
It goes to show like people's true colors. I just don't understand why we can't all live in harmony and allow people to protest and use their voice and fight for what they believe in, or like to kind of go into not only just I guess skin color, but also like religion too, like just being able to allow people to believe in what they want to believe in, and also just move with love. I don't know how to explain it. It's a very hard topic.
And relationship wise too, like with the LGBTQ community, just be who you are, love who you want. If it doesn't hurt, like if no one's harming you or it doesn't affect you directly, why do you have such a passionate viewpoint about it? You know what I mean? Like why does it bother you so much for someone just to be who they are and live in their truth? I don't know. But you did bring up some good points. You said it shows people's true colors, and if you know me personally, I use my social media to, educate and highlight and amplify certain social like justice issues that are happening in our world. And I did do a bunch of posts about Israel and Palestine, and I lost so many followers, like hundreds.
Yeah.
And it was just shocking. Like that was the first time ever, like with Black Lives Matter, me organizing my own protests in 20, like I kept all those followers, all those people were still in my life. But it was when I was sticking up for Palestinians that I was met with a lot of hostility, and people just like shut me out. Like I shut out by a lot of people.
Shut out, and she got messages.
People were coming from me in my DMs. But I just feel like all of that is like a way to like put fear in you, to like try to make you not speak your truth. And I feel like even if I don't like your viewpoint, I would never come at you. I would never come like
you're open to a discussion. And I feel like a lot of people just stand on how they feel and they're not open to hearing the other person's point of view.
Exactly.
Like, and I think it's absolutely crazy to me. So I just wanted to say, because low-key I was thinking about this earlier, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you don't burn a lot of bridges, and you keep in contact with a lot of people from throughout the years. And I don't want like just because of like history or because known them from high school or college to like you don't feel comfortable speaking your truth about certain issues. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember you telling me just like months ago, I think when Israel and Palestine, when it first came out, like you felt like you haven't really been posting or really, you know, on certain issues, and you wanted to get back to that. And I feel like, yeah, I don't think I think it's good for people to see their people's true colors. Definitely speak your mind. You have a platform for a reason, and we have that freedom. So I definitely just wanted to, because I feel like sometimes you get nervous maybe for not, because you don't want to like burn those bridges.
You're 100% right. I do like, and I do care about, I don't know, anyone in my life that
Shelby's a lover girl. Like, I just want to say she is well loved from school, her teammates, whatever she was in, even just around town. Like, Shelby is very like well loved, and that's why I feel like you get nervous to really speak.
And I do care about my relationships, and I don't want to upset people, and I don't want people to feel like I don't care about them or their identity or how they feel, because like I definitely do. But this is like, when there's a clear power imbalance, I'm gonna speak on the, you know, behalf of the people who are being oppressed, who aren't on that, like, you know, the side of the power. I'm just going to, like, that's just how I feel. And if you know me, then you should know not to take that personally.
Exactly. Like, you're open to hearing other people's point of views on how they feel about certain situations, but I feel like people don't give you the same grace, and they're automatically unfollow, let me comment, and it's just like, no, like, just hear each other out. No,
like, that's, no, but that's so real. You're like, you put that right. Like, a lot of people don't give me the same grace.
That like, I give honestly them. So I'm
looking at the camera like like, y'all are fucking mean.
No, seriously, that's why I don't think, because Shelby does have really good things to say, and she's such an educated woman, so I feel like I don't want people to make you feel like you can't speak your truth on
and
these.
You're right, because I definitely have been feeling like, honestly, in college I was very vocal. Like, I just did not have a filter on that, and I want to go back to that because that's just who I am.
I love seeing her posts. Like, low-key, I'm not gonna lie, don't come for me, I'm not the most educated person on these things, but I do like, I get educated through Shelby.
And you're willing to like learn.
You're
not like, don't teach me, you know. Alexa be like, no, what? Speak on that, sis. She gives me the space to vent and to speak my mind, which I really appreciate too.
Because I also feel like with a lot of things coming out, I know personally for me, there's things that you grow up and like you're taught or you learn or you see through media or certain things, and I feel like sometimes I can be ignorant, but sometimes like I'm trying to like learn from that and like really listen to other people's views and like their experiences. And I just want to, that's why I'm saying like people who are just like, well, this is the side that I'm on and I'm not changing it and this and this, and then you're going and you turn around, it's like now there's hate against certain religions and there's hate against certain ethnicities, and it's like it's just really effed up. Like, you really got to sit and listen to people. I don't remember if oh no, never mind, backtrack, sorry. We did this in another podcast that we're not dropping. I was like, I said this in another video, but we're not dropping that episode. But I'm just saying, like, it's just, I just feel like I think people need to be more open to listening. And even if at the end of the conversation you still don't agree, at least like you maybe can have a different perspective or like a different
or the respect is there for you to agree to disagree. You know? Like,
right.
I heard I have a new perspective in my head, like, okay,
right, this
is how this person's feeling. I don't feel that way, but like I'll just know that for the future. You know, if I ever come across another person that like has your similar viewpoint, I can empathize better than I did before. Going in blind, just being like, I don't know what this person's talking about.
And real quick, I do have a question about the back to Columbia University. Is that the picture or the article that you posted on Instagram with a girl? I think she was a valedictorian. And did they not let her speak, or they still allowed her to speak?
I don't know all of the background, but essentially what I know from the Columbia incident is that the people who were protesting for Palestine were suspended by the president, for protesting. They like had a warning or something like that, like, you guys must leave or whatever, or we're going to suspend you and you will get removed. And it's like, why? You know, like why
are you trying to silence people or even just arrest or get them suspended or taking them? I think that's ridiculous.
And I just wonder, this is what I don't know, but I just wonder, did that other protest get the same warning? Like, was the same treatment going on to all protesters, or was it just
the pro-Palestinian
protest? Because I think that's also crazy if that was the case, you know? But essentially, the only people that I know who got arrested and suspended from Colombia were people who are on the pro-Palestinian side, or pro-Palestine side, sorry. And I think that's messed up. I feel like, you know, that's clearly favoritism, or, you know, clearly like a disadvantage happening. And
you think it's like they're trying to make people fear. I'm like trying to get my words together.
No, but you're so
like,
right.
Make people fearful of like coming back and like, you know, keeping it going in a way. You know what I mean?
They're trying to send a message out, like, and also like make that correlation that pro-Palestine equals anti-Semitism, which that's not the case. That's what people keep trying to do, and it's like, why? You know, like, like, you know, I don't think it helps their argument in any kind of way. It just makes it more muddled and more
like, why are
complex.
You twisting things in the media? Because, bro, when I'm watching some of CNN recently, or like some of the news, like it gets pretty graphic, and I just don't understand. I'm gonna keep saying that, like I truly don't understand humans and how complicated humans are and how deranged and crazy. But when I watch stuff online or on the news of just people dying, like it's very gruesome, it's very like, and then just sit there and silence people when they're angry, people are getting fed up.
And it's a lot of it's like women and children, like, you know, and men. Like I don't want to just say women and children, because men are valuable too. Like, but the fact that we're seeing children's bodies and like little baby parts, and you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not normal. Like, I don't think we should be seeing that stuff ever in our lifetime. So the fact that those
and then you're trying to silence people for
the
speaking
people
out,
who are protesting against that are getting
they got family
abused.
over there. I don't think, but that's the thing, like they're putting this out in the media of like if you're pro-Palestinian you're anti-Jewish, and it's just like no, it's absolutely insane to me.
I feel like that's where, you know, like same thing with the Black Lives Matter movement. They were, you know, confusing that with like anti-police, anti-this, and it's like, why does that have to, you know, why do you have to send those two messages out? Why do you have to, you know, and it's to honestly steer you away from the human part of the conversation, which is the fact that we all should be able to live a life like with shelter, you know, food and, you know, water, and these people aren't. And that's what like at the bottom line, like that's the issue, and that's what, you know, we should all be able to agree upon, that every human being deserves that, no matter what religion or race you are.
I was just gonna say that too. Like, I don't understand, is it like, and don't cancel me if I say this weird, like, oh, is it like a Muslim thing? Like, you know, like they're looking at it like you're Muslim.
All
and
right,
then the
well,
whole
if you
want
to,
no, I'm serious, because like it absolutely blows my mind. I totally agree. Like, why can't we live in harmony? What is it about, like, and then the government or these certain companies want to start adding rules to shit, and then start taking down posts, and then you're not allowed to speak on
banning TikTok, because that's how we get our information on it. I think I mean, personally, I do think it has to do with being Muslim and the race, the color of your skin. I feel like all marginalized people, all oppressed people, you know, it stems down to the color of your skin. It just does. And whatever makes you an other. So if it's whatever that distinct feature is, and it's messed up. It's messed up that, you know, the darker hue people get treated poorly, you know, just because of what some old people thought way back when, you know, whatever rules or norms that they placed back in the day. It's just like, why?
Some dumb shit.
Like going, like how we said, like making life way more complicated. At the end of the day, if during COVID, we all got sick. We all were, you know, affected by the same illness. We all had to stay the freak inside. Like, we're all human. If I needed a heart, it doesn't matter if you're a black man, white Chinese woman, they, them,
whatever.
You're giving me your heart. You know what I mean? So we can have life, so that we can continue living. And I feel like that's all that matters. All this other, like, convoluted different freaking variables that you want to add to the mix just to like assert your power, your ego, and make you feel better about yourself is whack. And I feel like we've come so far as a society to where we don't need that no more. Like, obviously Where no one's better than each other. Like, I don't know. No one is better than one
Speak
another.
on it.
If you guys really want to get me riled up,
no,
I just feel like it's crazy.
No, because seriously, this is insane. These are Shelby's realizations, y'all, recently. Because this is not cool. I'm tired of seeing it too, honestly. I was on TikTok. I think you sent me the video on TikTok, and it was Jerry Springer, first of all, an old video of Jerry Springer. Girl. So I just agree, like, I guess things...
Well, explain it. Do you want to explain it?
Oh, yeah, sorry. So it was a video on TikTok of Jerry Springer, and he had a bunch of white people on, and they were just saying, like, it's in the Bible.
But they were
like,
kids.
They were kids.
Basically, like, little KKK members.
Yes.
Yeah.
In short.
Yeah.
Little KKK members.
Yeah.
And
the whole audience was kids, which was cool, too.
Yes. And it's crazy that even those kids that were in the audience, they're preaching what, like, we're preaching now in 20, and where we're at now. So it's kind of crazy, but I guess it is learned behavior. You know how we were talking about, like, we don't think you're born feeling these kinds of feelings. Like, I think it's like learned. It's got to be learned behavior.
Either someone told you that, or someone did something to you to where you internalize that, and
like reading the Bible, because she was like, oh, it says in the Bible. So you're reading that and you're interpreting that as something extreme.
Right. And, your mom and dad's telling you, like, the Bible is God, is the Bible. Like, you need to listen to this document or you're going to burn in hell for all eternity. Now you're scared. Like, you put that fear into that kid to follow whatever rules you're trying to get them to follow. And that can, like with cults, like, I don't know, that can get really crazy, like to the where they're willing to kill a whole other human being because of what the Bible is saying, or their God is saying.
God says.
But you're telling them their God is saying.
Yeah, but that's why I agree. Like, we should be living in harmony. Like, we're all human. We all deserve shelter, food, water. And I just feel like with all this hate, I don't know where the hate comes from. And then I feel like, not to kind of get political, but with the government, like, they're sending all this money to Israel, from what I've read, like sending all this money to Israel to fund their bombs, or I guess other equipment, or maybe other like food, water, whatever. And it's like, we also have things going on over here that people are struggling like really, really bad over here.
Ray needs a house. Like, there's homeless people, like, that need food
mental
and
health.
Water, mental health services.
People are struggling, and instead you would rather use your billions of dollars to fund bombs and other equipment. And I just find it very disrespectful.
And you know what? Exactly.
What the hell?
You're 100% right. And what else I find disrespectful on top of that is, so not only are you ignoring like the people that are in need in your own country, but you don't even treat Jewish people in your own country with respect. Like, literally. The Hasidic Jewish community, at least where we're from, we live like right by Kiryas Joel. Mm-hmm. People in our high school would throw eggs at, like, egg their houses, egg their cars. Like,
I never messed with that. I never really liked that.
But I remember, like, people would genuinely bother this community, and now you want to post an Israel flag on your story. You want to say, I'm with Israel. Like, I don't like Palestinians, but you don't like Hasidic Jews. Like, make it make sense. Like, treat people. Just be consistent. Treat people how you want to treat them, and be like 100%.
I think that's crazy that people were doing that. So like, I remember that growing up. Like, people would do crazy things to Kiryas Joel and stuff like that. I think it's just, I don't know where that hate, even if you're just a stupid teen, like, where does that come from?
It's learned behavior. But I also, like, either their parent was telling them that this is how it goes in life, like, this is what we believe in, blah blah blah. Honestly, it feeds their ego. Like, we're better than this group of people. I'm up here, you're below. You're below me. It's a sense of like ego and attention and whatever fulfillment they need through that, which is honestly insane. And
literally, that's crazy.
It's just like a lot of like self-esteem problems. Like, if you need your ego filled that much, you need to seek like serious, like, why don't you, I don't know, like, why do you need that external validation all the time, all that attention, all that? I don't know.
I think it's crazy. Even when we talk about like So back to like the government and stuff and power and ego and everything, it's like, again, with living in harmony, why can't people practice the religion that they want to practice? Why can't people have a secured, like, spacious land? I'm trying to say, like, their own, like, you see how Israel is trying to like push, like completely push Palestinian people out, and it's like, you have, and I know it might sound I don't know, because like white people came in and they took over and shit, but it's just like, why, Israel, you have your part. Don't cancel me. Like, but you have your part, and it's like, why can't the Palestinians and the Muslim community have their own? You know what I mean? And you just want to push out for what?
It's related to religion. Like, it all goes back to what they believe in, and like their belief tells them that they have ownership to this whole land. And I'm like, I get that, but people are already here, and that's,
then people are crazy because you're really sitting here and you're pushing people out, and you don't give a shit about women, children, and even like when I watch those videos of just with the bombings and stuff, it's just like, you truly don't give. I'm not saying like it's just Israel, because there are Israeli people as well that don't believe in war and stuff. So let me like put that out there, because I don't want to come at them, but I'm just saying, like, it's just, why do I have to say like, oh, what if it happened to you? What if it was your mom? What if it was
why
your
do we
kid?
have to go to that extreme of putting you in that? Like, why can't you just get it from the jump?
Just get it that we all deserve to live.
That goes to a lot of different issues too, just in general. Like, you know, why do we need to have you be in that person's situation in order for you to, you know, just respect them, give them grace? I don't get why it has to be like that either.
I do have another thing that on my notes about this, kind of goes back to using your platform. One thing that I really love when I'm watching award shows and when I'm watching like the Oscars and stuff, I love when people or celebrities, actors, they use their platform or they use their speeches for bringing awareness to certain things. I really love that. Like, or if they don't even accept the award and they bring somebody up to accept it and bring awareness to the situation. I really like that. But we were talking about this. What I don't like is when they do use their platform or even on social media, and then they miss out on opportunities because people feel some type of way for them, like using their voice and their freedom of speech. I think we were talking about like the doxing and stuff. You know, like certain people, I don't want to say certain people because I have to backtrack. I have to educate myself on who, but I have read or seen online like people losing business deals and stuff like that because they're speaking out about their views.
Yes. Oh, that's like Huda Beauty. It's a,
first of all, I love Huda Beauty.
Huda. Yeah, she is a Muslim woman, and she was like speaking out against Israel and was very, you know, pro-Palestine, pro-Gaza, and she got a lot of sponsorship, or some like money was taken away from her, like things, it impacted her brand, and that's really messed up. But yeah, honestly, that's what keeps people from speaking out. That's what, you know, makes me sometimes super anxious or cautious about speaking out on certain issues, because you just don't, it's just stupid. I don't know. And I was saying like, or talking about this in my notes, but doxing was meant to be something that was for like used for good. Like I remember it came out around 2020 when people were like bringing out their old racist tweets, or like, I don't know, different things were happening, or like,
yo, that was crazy.
Like, I don't want to say that's even used for good, because sometimes that can, you know, go to the left, and now you're trying to, you know, say that someone is who they were 5 years ago and that they can't change, which I think people have the ability to grow and learn from their mistakes. You still a little, you know, a little suspect, but like, I'm not gonna hold that. I don't hold grudges like that. I just don't. I'm not that kind of person.
Because every day you can wake up and like literally change your mindset.
And also like on TikTok, sometimes we'll see like different people, like when they're drunk, like they'll have like a whole like racist like attack and like panic attack, and they'll start saying crazy racist things to people and like try to hurt people. Like this girl did in like a dorm room or something. I don't know. She was like coming back from some party, it was like in a college, and she tried to hurt the RA because she was black. But whatever, things like that, I feel like doxing is good for that. You know, when you do something clearly harmful, clearly
you were
racist.
waiting for that moment, yeah.
Right? Or like,
Nah, you weren't waiting.
You're clear, like you're a hazard to society. You're trying to, create harm, and you're, when you get drunk and have too much to drink, you want to say the N-word and try to fight black people, and kill, be a little KKK member.
Yeah,
you gotta get doxxed.
Yeah, you gotta go.
You gotta go. But like people
I do agree with that. Yeah,
are in support of harmful things happening in other parts of the world, like in Palestine, like, I don't know, speaking out about serious issues that are clear to, there's a clear power imbalance. I don't think they should get doxxed. I think that's just you trying to flip a good thing and make it,
yeah,
bad.
it's our right. Like, I don't understand why, the government wants to keep everybody silent. I think it's just that could go off topic, but I think it's just to keep us brainwashed and like a bunch of other things. But it's just like,
and on that same thread, I'm about to go into something else that's controversial, but like flipping things or making things that were once good and trying to flip it to make it, bad, or to try to control us and go back to whatever narrative they want us to live in. The cash bail reform in New York City.
What is that?
So like the bail reform, so that's basically like, so I'll explain it like this to the viewers and to you. So there's a man named Khalif Browder who was falsely arrested and sent to Rikers Island for stealing a pair of sneakers that he never stole. And he was sent to Rikers Island because he was never able to fulfill or complete the cash bail requirement that they had put against him, whatever the cash bail limit was for him. His family did not have enough money to, pay that. So he was sent to jail in Rikers Island, which is like a very, very tough prison. And he basically went through hell in Rikers Island, whatever happened, whatever goes down in there. We saw some of that through the Central Park 5 documentary, but like, what goes down in there. So he comes out after, they find out that he didn't steal those sneakers, and he ends up killing himself. And so they came out with the bail, like New York State legislators fought for this bail reform law in like light of his murder to try to stop that from ever happening again. And judges take it and kind of flip it to their own, whatever, make it, because judges have their job is to interpret the law, interpret whatever, bills and stuff like that. So they're interpreting this law in whatever way they see fit. And sometimes it's to kind of like make it look bad in a way. So like a lot of people hate the bail reform because they're like, oh, you're just releasing these prisoners out into the street and they're, letting them do X, Y, and Z. Like you'll see that on the news, like, oh, this person's gonna
recently.
This person,
the
like
punchings and
the
stuff.
punchings, this person's gonna hit a woman. Oh, don't worry, he'll be back on the street in like 5 seconds, and that's not supposed to happen. Like people who are, clearly violent and abusive are supposed to, whatever, like
lock them up,
whatever people think, lock them up, which I don't believe in, but like, do whatever. Not non-violent people who, who are still, you're trying to prove that they did the crime, whatever, like not those types of instances. They're flipping it to, they're flipping it to work for them.
Rules as they go, it feels like.
Or to create a certain kind of narrative to control how we perceive things to be. And I feel like that's crazy. Like, how are you going to take something that was meant for so much good? Because there's and that happens a lot. Like a lot of people who are falsely in prison or not in prison for the right reasons, or wrongfully convicted. A lot of the times it's because they could not fulfill their cash bail requirement. And it's like, that's crazy. Like, you go through so much abuse and so much PTSD trauma for being poor, basically. For being poor. You're not able to, he didn't, if, I don't know. So, especially if you didn't do that thing. Like, if you didn't do that thing and you're poor and you get, framed for something, you're going to basically go to jail for that thing, even if you didn't do it. Right. And so with this cash bail reform, we're trying to fix that. But judges are basically saying,
sorry.
So we're gonna use it how we want to use it, which is to make this go away, which is to make everyone hate this bail reform and make you guys, get it revoked or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on up here with these people, guys.
But does that make sense? Like,
it kind of does. I'm not gonna lie. It takes time for me to process things in my brain.
But essentially, it's like, imagine this new rule was created because something really bad happened, and like you come to me and you're like, oh, like I didn't do, like, you didn't do this crime, but you're coming to me and, I'm the judge and I'm like, or no, let's say you did do that crime. You're like coming to me and you're like, hey, I raped this woman and I'm trying to get out of it. And I look at you and I know you raped that woman, but I'm like, I don't like this, like this cash bail reform thing is kind of fucked up, not in my favor. So I'm going to let you go, or I'll set the cash bail. I'll set your bail for like $100 or $150, like eat something that you can easily pay so that you can go back into society. And it's like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're going to keep the people who are selling weed. Or it's something like that. Like, you're selling weed, but you get thrown in jail. Meanwhile, weed is low-key legal now.
Yeah.
Just because you're selling it illegally through 100%. Your own person. You're the weed man.
Yeah. Do you think that a lot of these regulate or these rules, these reforms and stuff, do you think like we need to go back and like redo all these, like, because it makes sense, but it's not making sense to me. Like, you are not putting away somebody allegedly who raped somebody, but you're putting away like the non as crazy crimes, and then you're letting someone who's actually crazy on the loose. So it's just like
it doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen.
But it has been
it does happen.
Yeah. So do you think that we should like not start from square one, obviously, but certain things need to be changed? You know what I'm saying? Like
things need to be changed, and those things need to be like who you elect as your judge. So
voting season's coming up.
Yeah, voting season's coming up, and also like that goes into another important topic. A lot of people don't vote in their local elections. They focus on like the presidential election, like the big ones. But like in those local elections, that's how you vote for your judges. So those people who are interpreting laws and basically, deciding who gets to go to jail, who doesn't. And they're also the people who, like the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court are the people who just banned protesting in 3 different states. If we had Supreme Court members who understood and respected the value of protesting, we wouldn't have that issue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
It depends
and
who
human
you put.
life.
And human life.
Like, because who are you putting in these offices? Yeah.
It depends on who you put into office and who.
Yeah.
And I feel like also a lot of things in politics is like everyone's biased, right? We're all human. We all have our own opinions and judgments and stuff like that and beliefs. And a lot of what's believed about in politics is that you're supposed to be impartial and like not biased and objective and try to serve all people because you're a public servant when you're technically a politician. You're serving the people, but that's just not the case. A lot of people have their own agenda, their own bias that they want to play out when they have that power role.
Biden was speaking a good game during his things,
right.
and I don't know what's going on now. So that's why it's sometimes hard. Like, I get nervous with voting because like these politicians talk a really good game, and then they get in office, and then it's like, what the hell is going on?
And now all of a sudden he wants to cancel people's student loans because it's towards it's getting close to November. It's like, bro, we've been asking for that for the whole 4 years you've been in office.
It's like, what's going on? So this voting season, I don't know what's gonna happen, y'all. I get nervous sometimes with the way the country or like just our world is kind of going into. I feel like a lot of people are getting fed up. I feel like a lot of people are getting fed up, actually. And it's just only a matter of time before shit starts to hit the fan. But I also agree, like, I do agree with people's frustrations and their anger because I agree, too. Like, I'm getting fed up, Like, it's a crazy world we live in. And I don't know where else I was going to go with that. But you get what I'm saying. Like, I just don't know where our world is kind of moving towards with everything going on. Like, people are getting fed up here in America, and then you see people overseas getting really fed up with the way things are too. It's like,
and the fact that we're able to see all this happen is crazy. Like, that wasn't a thing back in the day, like in our history books. Like, we have the power of the internet and social media to where we know what's happening everywhere in this world. Like, we know, like, we're all so connected. So
I was thinking about that the other day too.
That's why there's so much unrest to me, We're like, we see it all happening. It's not like we're, ignorance is bliss in that way. Like, we don't have like a blind eye to different things happening in the world. We see everything.
Yeah, because before social media, I probably wouldn't really have known a lot about like Israel and Gaza.
No. You just know what's going on.
Whatever's on.
Or but like in our hometown.
Or just in here, or like whatever they're playing on the news, back in the day. But I don't think I really would have known like really what was going on.
And honestly, like, that's all our brains, I forgot where I saw this, but like I don't even know if our brains have caught up to that level of like information taking that we have now, or like information.
I don't think so either. Because,
bro,
I'm seeing on TikTok again, like, a toxic video, and then I'm seeing, like, the war, and then the next video is, like, a beauty guru, and then I'm seeing, like, maybe a fashion TikTok or a spooky TikTok. You know what I mean? Like, just constantly. It's a lot. Like, I don't think I've ever seen. Okay, so I was thinking about this too. As a kid, I kind of miss sometimes being delusional and like in a fantasy world and not really knowing what real life situations are going on.
Yeah.
And now that I'm older and I'm seeing a lot of the videos on war and like these people dying, it's a lot. I honestly have to turn it off. Like, maybe I think I'm just too sensitive. And also I get like, it's very sickening. I can't see too much blood sometimes, but I just, yeah, I don't know how to explain it.
No, I feel like there's a, don't come for me, but there's like a quote about that. And honestly, it's like a very white perspective to feel that way. Like I feel that way too. Like it can be overwhelming, but like I can never shut it off because it's like it impacts, like social issues impact me in a way, you know? And I feel like in a way, like, I don't know, I feel like weird. I don't have like a confirmed stance on this, like, cause I feel how you feel sometimes about like it being too much, but then also like
some people have had to live with that every day,
you know,
and I didn't live with that growing up. You know what I'm saying?
And
so it's like,
and as a human being, it's like, what is your, like, what are we here for other than to like love each other and try to be there for one another, whatever that makes, like whatever that takes form from
and appreciate you. Like, what? I don't understand. Again,
so you can't always shut it out. Like you have to be able to to learn and know what's going on in the world, and you know, do whatever makes you, like, I don't know, whatever action makes you feel better, but you should always at least know. I don't know. You should know what's going on in the world, even though like we're not supposed to know all of this stuff. I feel like at the end of the day, like it's what's here in front of us, and we have to.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that too. Like growing up, I don't think a lot of these issues really started to come about until high school. Like I didn't have people talking about, you know what I mean?
So a lot of this came up around that time, or actually like 8 years before that, when Obama became president. When we got our first black president in the United States, that shook the whole world.
That's crazy, because I don't even that's crazy. That's
because we were so young.
I don't remember all that.
But before that, we didn't, like, it was very taboo to talk about race, politics, sex, like all of that stuff in conversation. Everyone kept it very surface level. That's why everyone got along. Like no one was getting into those nitty gritty controversial topics that we are today. So that's why a lot of things are coming out and being exposed, and you know, that's just how things were back then. Like, you know, people were just accepted that kind of norm, and now we're challenging a lot of things, and we have the tools and resources to do that. So it's happening, and it's just a changing world. But like, either we're gonna go back to that, back to like sweeping things under the rug, you know, having very surface level conversations, being,
and
you know,
want that.
having, you know, keeping those topics as taboo, or we're going to keep having fights and tension and explosions. And I feel like that's how you make change. You need catalysts. You got to, you know, it's going to happen one way or another. And I feel like it is starting to slowly happen.
People are getting fed up. But I do want to say real quick, like with, I don't know if it ties into that, but even just like the thing that we just had now, like I just want to put it out there for a lot of white people. You need to be doing the same thing. When someone like corrects you, I think a lot of white people get very, what is that, like white fragility? They get fragile about it. I love Shelby to death, and I every day will want to work towards like being better, if that makes sense, you know, because like I was saying before, like sometimes I can get a little ignorant. Like this is my experience and like how I grew up, and some things I have privilege. Like there's a lot of shit, like I grew up in a different way than Shelby and a lot of other people. So it's just like, I just wish some people, instead of just saying like, hey, like slavery was this amount of years ago, like a lot of black people have no, you need to like have these conversations and not be fragile about it, and not get your feelings hurt, and listen to your friend, listen to the people around you. A lot of white people sit here and they love black culture and love hip hop and love and have black people in their life, and it's like they don't do the work, or just or they don't go that deep.
Yeah.
You know, or they don't listen. And it's just like, again, in the future, I don't know what my daughter is going to be like, my son, you know, I don't know who I'm going to marry. At the end of the day, I want to be the best example for my kids. And you live one life. Right. Learn. Be open to learning. And be open to letting go.
And you have me in your life. You know, you have a Black sister in a way, you know, like why would you? Because I feel like a lot of people, like what you were saying, not to cut you off, but like they have those people, they appreciate the culture, they appreciate Black people to a certain extent, but you have to go deep and really, you know.
And I'm going to put this out there. We might take this out. I had a person in my life back in the day, very into Black men. And I just remember, like, when the protests were happening and stuff, I had people hitting me up like, yo, this girl you hang out with has not, like, said anything about it. And it's like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you're a white girl or you're a white, you know.
She's so different now.
Yeah, no, because you can grow. But I'm just saying, like, you can't even make a post. You can't even, like, in support or say anything. Right. Like, that just goes for everybody. I just brought that up as an example, but that's what I'm just saying.
That's
like,
so true. You be sucking Black D.
I didn't want to. Yeah, I was like, I didn't want to say that vulgar. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, you're having sex with a lot of Black men, and you can't say like Black Lives Matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
but now she does not at all. Like, I don't think she messes with Black people at all now, which is crazy. So. You know, which is crazy. It shows you.
That's what I'm saying. Back to the true colors. Like. Yeah. All these situations and these conversations and that are happening, like, you truly see people's like true colors. And I don't know, like, I think it's good to see that, because then you can pick and choose who you want in your life. And, you know, some people can fool you into thinking one way, and then again, one wrong thing happens, one drunk night, now she's out here saying that, and people, you know, like, whatever. I have another story. Another story. But that's what I'm saying. Like, just like, white people are just so fucking nuts sometimes.
But I do, before you go on your story,
I'm going into a tangent now. I'm like, white people are fucking nuts.
No, but Alexa, you're like one of the, I don't really know a lot of white people who would say that either. You know what I mean? Like, who just call it out and not be so defensive. I feel like you really hit it on the nail with like people feeling personally attacked and taking things personal, and not just being able to sit there and listen and be like, you know.
Yeah.
You're right. Like, that's a different perspective that I've never learned about before. And I also have my own privileges too. Sometimes I have to learn from my own community. Like, I grew up in a predominantly white area. I didn't live in the city. I don't know anything about that. So I have learning to do as well. You know, like, it's just like just recognizing and not taking things personal and being open to learning.
Exactly.
I feel like that was a good point.
Exactly. No, I agree.
Good point.
I was going to say about that, you usually, I think it's you say you have a free thinking brain, like you have a free, just open,
yeah, I know, open thinking.
You get what I'm trying to say? My words aren't coming out, y'all. My words aren't coming out today. But no, like, we have a free thinking brain. Like, I don't know. Just
it's
open your
limited.
Mind to different, right.
We don't have,
you don't got to think you're one KKK way. Like, get out of that. Listen to other people's, you know, stories. Like, we were just having this conversation, like, we live one life, and why not experience respectfully other people's cultures and learn and eat their like the food and like wear the outfits, but respectfully, because you live one life, and open your mind up to different cultures and like different stories and knowledge. I love when I see that on TikTok, like people going to different areas and just respecting the culture and then learning.
Do you know Anthony?
He's got glasses.
No, he passed away, but I feel like they got inspiration from him because he was one of the first to do it. He was a chef, Anthony I don't know how to say his last name, Bourdain, but he was a chef, and he went to different countries and would learn how to cook from the people.
Yeah. And why not live that life?
He was a white man, but he would go around and learn how to cook from all these different countries. And I feel like that's like, what are we on earth to do but to learn from each other? You know what I mean? Like, why?
instead of moving with
you?
hate, like, oh, you believe in this religion, screw you, you deserve to die. You're a weirdo if you think that. Or if you think in a different way, like certain ethnicities, like when you think of like, I don't know, certain ethnicities and then you want to fucking just move with hate. I think it's weird. I think it makes me uncomfortable as I'm getting older in certain conversations.
And there's a lot of similarities amongst us too. Like, why do you have to make it that, why do you have to bring it to that hateful negative space when you could be vibrating at a much elevated positive space, recognizing all of our similarities and our universal truths? Like, we are at the end of the day human beings. Like I said, when we had COVID, we all got sick. When we need a heart, we all, I look for a human heart, you know what I mean? Like, we make things way more complicated than it has to be, and it's just crazy. And a lot of people die and suffer. And it's like a lot of unneeded suffering and deaths from that.
And give yourself grace. Like, I have to give myself grace. Again, sometimes the way I grew up, you go back to that like way of thinking, not in any bad way. I'm just saying, like, sometimes, again, I could be ignorant. Give yourself grace. You're learning. Every day you can wake up and change your mind and move with love. So I just want to put that out there too, because there's a lot of hate going on in this world.
Yeah, you don't have to feed into that.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, so, this topic was just one of my realizations, but also like it was like a little insight into some of the conversations that me and Alexa just have on our own. Like, we really do be talking about life and universal truths and just different things that we see happening in our world. So, it's hard to talk about. It's hard to get the right words together. We don't want to get canceled.
Bear with me.
Right. We don't want to get canceled, but
it's easier when it flows when we're like driving to where we gotta go.
Or eating food.
Eating food. But like with the camera on, it gets a little nerve-wracking. I get a little nervous.
Same.
But yeah.
But there's like there's a lot of layers to the things that we've talked about. We definitely did not hit the nail on the head on everything, but at the end of the day, this is a good start. We'll have more conversations like this, and we encourage you to have, more conversations about life like this too.
Yeah, with people in your group, your family, friends, cousins, anybody. Also, I just want to say shout out to everybody who's been protesting and using their voice and doing sit-ins?
Yeah, sit-ins.
Sit-ins, thank you. Like, everybody who's out here just fighting for what they believe in and fighting for love and not war, and like, just, it's amazing. It's really is amazing to see, because it's also not easy. It is scary. A lot of people, you just never know what could happen. So shout out to y'all, honestly.
Shout out to y'all. And Alexa, on that note, we talked about it yesterday, because Alexa was like, how do we progress issues? Like, how do we make change?
Get involved
with these different issues? And I was saying, honestly, the most direct and impactful way I see it is through protesting. So I feel like we have to keep that alive. Like, you can call your congresswoman or, local politician all you want, but I've worked in those offices and things just get pushed aside. So like, really being out there, using your voice, using your body is very dangerous.
Be careful.
Very courageous, but that's how we keep progress going. So keep it up, like, seriously.
Right. And if you can't make it to a protest, I would say maybe going on social media and just
using your voice.
Yeah, using your voice in TikTok.
Posting your
if they
story.
delete your video, repost it. Keep it going.
Repost stories that you see that are amplifying that issue. But like, just use your voice. Don't be afraid, and try to get that fear, like whatever fear they're trying to put into you, try to like get that out.
Yeah, and learn.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. I don't know. Like, keep learning, keep doing your thing.
But yeah, we
that's
love
all
you.
I got. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell all of your friends.
You already know. Gra, gra, gra. Bye.